What's going on, world? Coming at you guys again. We got another quick video. Sexual misconduct. Let's talk about it. So, sexual misconduct is spreading like wildfire in the news right now. From the Epstein files to the more recent case of the alleged rape of a 12 or a 13-year-old girl by a group of children whom were also 12 to 15 years old in Florida. As we've seen, the criminal justice system is not working efficiently to prevent, deter, or to correct the actions of past or future offenders. So, as president, my fourth executive order would be a transformation of how society looks at individuals whom are sexual predators. And that would include groping, unwanted touching, molestation, rape, etc., etc. So I believe it should be broken down into, you could say, 3 tiers or 3 groups or 3 degrees, right? Now, the third degree is an individual, child or adult, whom touches another human being in a fashion in which is to arouse themselves or the other individual, again, outside of clothes, right? That would be third degree. Second degree would be the same thing, but under the clothes, right? It could be skin on skin or the intent to stimulate arousal for themselves or the other person under the clothes. And then first degree would be actual penetration, right? Those would be the 3 degrees in which I would classify sexual misconduct. Now, we have other forms and alternatives of sexual misconduct where we talk about, say, pedophilia, right? Which is what we call is could be statutory rape, right? Now, when we talk about the actions of individuals in this fashion, it's clearly an individual who has a deficiency and lacks the mental capacity of self-control. And based off of this process, based off of these normative historical realities, I believe that individuals whom are engaging in acts of sexual misconduct, to include pedophilia, rape, etc., I believe they have a mental disability, right? Because clearly they have shown the inability to function in a fashion in which they could maintain control or restraint, right? So, based off of these 3 degrees, I believe the way we should implement corrective measures would be based off of the same ideology of what we give individuals who are out on probation or parole with a tether. With third degree, uh, you say touching outside of clothes or over the clothes, I believe they should get a bracelet, an unremovable bracelet, color coded yellow. Now, this bracelet records audio, it records video, it has a GPS tracker on it. And for an individual who is accused and convicted and found guilty of unwanted touching over clothes, should have to wear this bracelet for at least 1 year, and that individual should have to facilitate restitution to its victim for that year. That would include apologies, that would include some form of work effort, manual labor, etc., to not only the victim, but the victim's family, whether it be chores or, some services rendered to facilitate the notion that they're going to be held accountable, that they're being held accountable. It will be financial compensation as well, and it would all happen under a police escort. So this has the opportunity for the victim to regain control and power because it allows to see their offender in a submissive role to where she knows that he is being held accountable, and she has the capacity to see that society is isolating and holding that individual accountable. And this way, moving forward, she's not left out there wondering where this individual is. She's not out there wondering, is he, getting his just desserts? She's not wondering, you know, how she can overcome the situation. And this goes for males too, because it's not only girls that, are victims here, right? For second degree, it would be an orange irremovable bracelet, again with GPS and audio and video monitoring, as well as restitution with forms of work, chores, financial, with a police escort. And then first degree would be a red bracelet. All of the same, right? Now, the differences between all three is the yellow bracelet for third degree, touching over clothes, is a minimum of 1 year. Second degree, the orange bracelet, would be a minimum of 3 years. First degree, which is penetration, right? Well, that's minimum of 10 years. Now, these bracelets will be held in a national database with profiles, pictures, as well as the specifics of the events in which unfolded that were recorded in a court of law, that people had the availability to research and look up and be able to see. And this would afford everybody in the world, or at least in that nation, the opportunity to see the individuals and who they were dealing with, right? And, there's a misconception out there about having to register on the sex offender website, right? This would open up the opportunity to identify individuals, because, just because we have individuals registered on a sex offender website in today's day and time, you don't know who those individuals are. This would give everybody the opportunity to see exactly who people are, what they're capable of, and what their past transgressions are. And this would also give victims the availability to feel safer around the world, to know that we are identifying individuals whom are threats, that we are monitoring individuals whom are threats, that we are tracking individuals whom are threats, audio and visual. And this also opens up the opportunity for the offenders, because the bracelets in which they have, which are irremovable, it records audio, it records visual, it records GPS, right? And, that gives them a sense of safety and security, because we do have individuals who like to pretend to be Batman and want to be vigilantes. So this keeps them safe as well. And the individuals who want to play vigilante, who are acting in a predatory fashion instead of allowing law enforcement to do their job, well, now these individuals can be held accountable as well, right? So it's a full service system to keep society safe from all forms of predators. And this will give the opportunity for society to grow better and to heal better as a whole, because the victims aren't just, sitting to the sideline not knowing if justice is being served. They have the real world application and understanding that, the individuals, whether they were doing it maliciously or they did it in a methodology in which was misinterpreted or misconstrued, because, there are instances to where children have unwanted actions with other children based off of the inability to express themselves. And this would give the opportunity with parent as well as police and counselor mentorship, as well as oversight and supervision, to make sure that, a conversation can be had for both parties to grow and develop in a manner in which is beneficial, because the methodology in which we are enacting right now is not stopping, it is not preventing, it is not deterring offenders. And, if you ever had the opportunity to read the book, The Scarlet Letter, this is utilizing the same type of concepts, but, because the GPS systems and the bracelets have the audio and visual and GPS tracking, it is a great opportunity to move society forward in a better and more moralistic approach. So that would be my fourth executive order when it comes to sexual misconduct and individuals whom are found guilty of sexual misconduct. And, again, that would also include these individuals whom are engaged in forms of pedophilia or sexual misconduct, to be classified as an individual with a disability. And based off of the age and the severity, of these actions, it would classify your level of disability at different levels as well. This is something that I feel as though is appropriate, and this would be my fourth executive order.